you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is C Concepts. If you are new here, you're most welcome. And to my returning subscribers, you're highly welcome. Today, I shall be showing you how to cut and sew this beautiful skirt, two-pieces skirts on your screen. Okay, so I'll be showing you how to measure it, how to cut it, and how to stitch it. Kindly sit back and then watch to the end. I'll place my fabric on fold with the 1/4 of my hip. Obviously, the hip is the largest part of the body when it comes to skirts or pants. Okay, so the length of my skirts for my waistline is 43. Then I added 1 inch to this upper part, making a 44. So I have 44 here. So from the waistline here, the second line here, not the upper one, to my hip line is 11 inches. And from that same waistline to my knee line is 21 inch. Then I went up by 2 inches. That makes it 19 inches. So, okay, the down part, because we are going to achieve a round bottom on the down part. So how do we do that? What I did was, I placed the 1/4 of my hip, which is 13 inches, plus 2 inches allowance, making a 15. Then I went ahead and divided that 15 inches by 2, making 7.5. I will be adding half an inch to this hip line, making a 15.5. So 15.5 plus 7.5. I think that will be 23. So my round, the bottom now will be 23 from the folded edge. So I'll place 23 here. This is it, 23. And then from the waistline, I will place the 1/4 of my waistline, which is 11 inches, plus half an inch for his, making 11.5. Okay, so I'll be adding a seam allowance to it, 2 inches. On the hip line, I will place the 1/4 of my hip, which is 13, plus half an inch for his, making 13.5. And I'll add 2 inches allowance to it as well. Then on the knee line, remember on the hip line was 15.5. So I'll be taking away 1.5 from this 15.5. I'll be left with 14 inches. Then I'll connect the lines together. And I will take the knee measurement down to the 23. That's it. When shaping your skirt, avoid the sharp edge, especially when it is on a hip line. You can come in a bit like by a 1/4. Then I'll go ahead and cut it now. Like I said, I will not be adding that to this skirt. 갑자기 내게 나타나준 너. 난 아무 말도 할 수가 없어. I'll place the back now. I've placed the back piece on fold, and then what I did here was from the back piece, because this is the front piece, so I placed the front piece on it. From the folded edge of the front piece, I left 7 inches. That is from where the front piece ends here to this edge is 7 inches. Okay. Then from there, I ruled a line to indicate my knee line. Here is it, my knee line. So on the down part, I left 4 inches.
Okay, the down part, the back piece is longer than the front piece by 4 inches. Like I said, I'll be adding a chapel tray to it. Okay, so the distance between the front piece on this edge is 7 inches. So from the knee line upward, I'll be placing my zipper allowance 1 inch. So from this knee line, I will take my line to this part to form my chapel tray. You can go as far as 9 inches if you want, but I don't want it too long. So that's it. Then on the down part here, from this part, I'll be curving it to this edge. Okay, so when I want to join it, I will add the lace edge to this part to complement this upper parts. Okay, now I'll go ahead and cut it now. Going to look after cutting it. Like I said, you can go as far as 9 inches, 10 inches if you want, but I don't want it too long. So this part, before I join it to the front piece, I will add the lace edge to this part, just to complement this down part. So our skirt is ready now. I'll go ahead and cut the line. I'll be leaving 2 inches. That is, the fabric, the main fabric will be longer than the lining by 2.5 inches. Okay. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Go ahead and notch the parts because that will guide me to place the measurements. For the back, I'll be adding full lining to it because the back is longer than the front. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and cut it out.
시간은 계속 흘러만 가고 기다리다
So this is for the back piece. I will place the shiny part of the lining on the wrong side of the fabric like this. Like I said, I will not be adding that to this dress. To this skirt. Why am I saying dress? Take my sewing machine now and stitch up all the side. I'll join the lining together to the main fabric. I'll stitch up the lining to the skirt, and I forgot to tell you something about it. If you're a newbie and you are struggling to do this, because sometimes it will be stressful when trying to hold the lining to the fabric, especially when you are working with a see-through lace. Okay, so all you have to do is to hold the edge round with your pin. Okay, because the way it is now, stitch up this, but I just want to let you know few things in case if you might need it. So you hold it, the edge, you hold it down with your pin. Okay, after securing it with your pin, then you go ahead and place where the real fabric is on your machine. So you stitch on the lining, okay? With this, you'll be able to control the lining and the fabric, okay? But make sure you look out for the stones, okay? So when you do that, I think you should be able to, walk around it than for you to stitch it up on the fabric. Because if you do so, you discover the whole fabric will just be pulling down, okay? So try the method. If it works, do let me know in the comment section, okay? So now I'll go ahead now and place both the front piece and the back piece together to place the body measurements, okay? To place the body measurements, the first thing I did was I placed the back panel and the front panel skirt together, because this will help me to get my accurate body measurements. As you can see here, I've done so. I secure it with my pin, both up and down, and I notch the front piece, the midpoint, and then align it to the zipper allowance of the back piece. So for the down parts, remember we created a panel at the back of the skirt, so you don't pay attention on the back panel. All you have to do is to fold it like this and then leave it there. So all you have to do is to pay attention on the side seam. Make sure the side seam of the front panel of the skirt and the back panel aligns together. They are equal, okay? So while you leave the panel, the back panel like this, okay? So on the down parts, you can as well place the midpoint together, center to center. So this is it now. So I will now go ahead and place the 1/4 of the body measurement. From the upper part here, I left 1 inch when I was taking the body measurement, when I was cutting it. So I left 1 inch here, and the hip line is 11 inches. 11 plus this one, that would be 12 inches. So the hip line will be here, and from this upper part here to my knee length is 19 inches plus this one I left on the upper part, that would be 20 inches. So by the time I join the band and I trim off the upper part, I'll be left with 19 inches. That is why I added the 1 inch to each of the vertical measurements. So I will go ahead now and place the 1/4 of the body measurements. So for the waistline, the 1/4 of the waistline is 11 inches from the zipper line here. So I will add half an inch to it for his. Then 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. So on the hip line, the 1/4 is 13 from the zipper line here. And we had a half an inch to hit for ease. Then 1.5 inches for allowance. On the knee line, from what I have here, I will take away 1.5 inches. So it depends on how deep you want the knee line to be, okay? But I just want to deduct 1.5 inches from my hip line. So I have a 13.5 inches here. So when I take away 1.5 inches on the hip line, that is from the 1/4 of the hip line, I will be left with 1.5 minus 13.5. That will be 12 inches. So from the zip line here, I'll place it, I'll go in by 12 inches. Then I will add there 1.5 inches for allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect the measurements. So whatever I have here, I will just take it down. So that's for the one part of the skirt. So for the other part, for this side, I will repeat same. So I'll take it to my sewing machine now and then stitch it together. So I'll follow the line and join both sides together. Before you start your back stitch, slow and steady. And use your hands to hold it down like this, okay?
I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy.
So I'll go ahead and finish up the other side. And I'll come back and show you the finished look. This is the front, the side, the back. This is the panel we have it. The down parts where I joined, this is it.
갑자기 내게 나타나준 너. 난 아무 말도 할 수가 없었지. 첫눈에 반한다는 이야기가 널 보는 순간 이해가 됐어. 매번 야야야야야 불러 널 야야야야 내 맘을 고백하려고
So guys, I want to say thank you for watching today. Hey, thank you so much for staying tuned. And then I hope and I believe this video has been helpful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like it, share it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below regarding this skirt. Thank you all. And then if you have not subscribed, kindly press the red subscribe button. Okay? Down below, just press it. And if you have any question, I'm always there to answer you any day, anytime. Okay, feel free to ask a question. Thank you so much. Please, kindly do me a favor. Turn on your notification bell in case I upload fresh video you get notified. Okay, I love you all.